Jason Lee Podcast.
We're back for an all-new episode of the Jason Lee Podcast. Aging is a real thing. I crack jokes at Rob all the time that he's old. Marina's a lot younger than us, so she don't get those jokes. But I am literally on the mend because after the election, after winning and becoming the District 6 rep in Stockton, my body just shut down. It was over. I had some really crazy stomach thing. And I'm a hypochondriac. I don't know if you all are hypochondriacs, or those of you watching, but I'm the type of person that if I sneeze too hard, there's some type of lump in my lung. I don't know. I just automatically start to think the worst. I think on one of my podcasts, I told the story. This is before I was an elect. By the way, I'm not going to change. So just embrace or brace whatever makes you feel comfortable. I'm going to stay me. But do you remember the time that I found out I was HIV negative?
Yes.
And then I didn't have any STDs? Yes. Were you around for that? And look, let me not make a joke out of this because there are people that are struggling with that. I'm just not one of them. But I had gotten so sick, I had made myself believe that I had HIV. And I flew my friend in town. I told Rob not to come to work. I told everybody to leave my house. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. And my best friend, Calvin, came in town. He's in my book. If you go read it, you know Calvin, the history. He came in town for a week to stay with me because I just wanted him to sit in a house of silence while I mourn. But that showed the lack of education I had on STDs, and now you can live with HIV. You don't have to die from it. You know, there's no cure. Well, magic. Anyway, I thought I had it and didn't have it because that's the psychological thing. I don't know what it is. As soon as I get a cold, oh my God, I have cancer. So I had a stomach thing. I went from stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer, colon. Well, not colon cancer because I had my colon checked. But there's all these things. I had a inflamed intestine. How does your intestine get inflamed? Wow, not like that. Well, either way, I took medication, I took blood work, and even then I had to go further. So I went and did an STD check, and everything came back clear. And I tell these stories because there are people out there like me that get sick or are afraid of getting sick or are afraid to go get tested. We all got to get every test. If you want to stay alive longer, you have to be on top of your health. I will always use my platform to push that type of responsibility, not just because healthcare unlocked, but you know, we want people to live longer. We all are like, we're all going to die. Damn, it's kind of sad to start the show off with that, right? Do you think about mortality?
Every day.
Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think about dying every day.
Mm-hmm. No. Why?
Because I'm always like, life is so short. And I was going to say something that a guest said from yesterday.
Say it.
Okay. Yeah. I can't because it's not released. But I always think about just being in a box and never opening my eyes again.
No.
Is that fucked up?
Every day, though?
Yeah, every day.
Why is it on every day?
I don't think I think about it every day, but it does cross my mind. Crazy enough, I actually had this conversation with Johnny today because I was like randomly going through some YouTubes, and then this YouTube popped up about some young people who got killed in a car accident, and they were just turning the corner. But it's just like I do think about it, and I'm just like, it's so final. I'm like, what is next?
Well, the book that I wrote, God Must Have Forgotten About Me, talks about faith over fear. So like, we want to have faith that we're going to get through. I am very like safety prone, so I always think about situations. The other night I went out to pizza, and yes, I had my friends with me. It was like about 6 of us. We were having pizza, and I had 2 security with me. And it was interesting because the night I decided to go get pizza, security said, do you want 1 person or 2? I said, well, we're going to go see Sexy Red. We need 2. But then we went to pizza, and we had 2 people. And thank God we did, because we were having pizza, and somebody walked in at 2 a.m. with a gun in their waistband. And the security saw him, but we had 1 position by the door and 1 sitting over here to where all angles were covered, the street, the this, that. And then when they saw me, they went outside and waited in their car because maybe they were a fan or whatever. But then now they're waiting outside with the gun. Mm-hmm. So it was like a whole thing where they had to follow me and stuff. And when you think about just like life in general, you try to plan as much as you can, but like Liam Payne probably didn't plan to fall out a 3-story building, right? So you just never know when your time is up. But I hope that people out there are being safe. But I have to tell you, healthcare professionals, when it comes to public figures, right? And even though Marina and Rob have somewhat of a private life, you know them because you see them on the show or you see them around, and they're involved with everything we got going on. When we come to the doctor's office, you do not get to yell out my name when I open the door. Like, it's not The Price is Right. Like, there's some consolation prize or something that's going to happen that's good for me. Wait. No, this is not the experience when you walk in the doctor's office. I went into the doctor's office the other day, and as soon as I walked in, as soon as I opened the door, the guy behind the desk, whom I've never met, I've never gone to dinner with, I don't know him, said, "Hey, Jason Lee," and I just kind of looked around and went in the room. Yeah, privacy is important too, you know. And nowadays, and I know this, people are gonna say that this is probably not the reason why you should be afraid to catch anything. I don't want nobody to know, because you know the first thing they're gonna do is go on the Abby or Grindr or somewhere and be like, "I talked to No. And I also refuse to do the anal swab. I said, "There's just no."
What is that? A swab in your butthole?
Yeah.
A Q-tip, like a dry Q-tip?
Yeah, it's like the long.
Go ahead and explain to explain to
What
them the
is
procedures
that?
of all the STD testing that goes on.
Yeah, they swap your mouth and then
Your throat.
your throat, your throat, and then you do the anal swab and then you do the pee cup
And the blood.
Well,
and
what
the
does the
butt work.
butt one tell you that it's not in the pee?
They just test for everything like gonorrhea, chlamydia.
Well,
Oh,
and
that's-
I don't have any. There's no
Incredible
entryway. So
swab.
for me, I told him I'm protesting.
But you know, a girl and a guy they might like to lick each other in the backside. So I mean, you got to test everything.
Eat the groceries.
My taste buds have changed after my surgery. Yeah, like anyway, my digestive tract refuses to participate in certain activities. But what I will tell you is that it's really a very vulnerable experience when you're getting an STD check, because you know they're asking all these intimate questions, and but it's really important. And look, we're making light of it, but folks, go get tested, because the conversations you need to have with your doctor, while they may be uncomfortable, are probably more uncomfortable to have with the person that gave you something.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of you out there, you know how that feels. Do your thing, TikTok. All right. Well, listen, welcome back to the podcast. Like I said, I was dealing with the stomach thing, and then my back went out. How my stomach started feeling better, then my back went out. Then I stepped on my arm wrong last night. My arm felt like a lazy arm. So now, of course, I'm thinking, am I having a stroke? You know, like, I don't know. But I'm getting better. Thank you all for all the well wishes and stuff on social media. Let's just get straight to it. It's time for the tea with Jason Lee. Some of you are still dealing with post-election stress disorder. I've chosen to not. I go to sleep at night with peace and tranquility, and I think about all of the things that I want to do the next day. I refuse to participate in fear-mongering and being afraid and just living in that thing we lived in for 4 years during the last presidential experience with Donald Trump. Just put him up there. I forgot to even say his name. Him. We're talking about you, Donnie. Well, Donald Trump has made it clear that he's going to fulfill every promise that he has. And if you've not tuned into Hollywood Unlocked social media, please take a break right now. Push pause. Go, or if you're listening to it, just push pause. Go over to social media, follow Hollywood Unlocked, because you need to see the daily updates with his cabinet picks. Because at this point, this is not even The Apprentice. This is like Love and Hip Hop. Ain't got nothing on what this man is doing. Lemuel Plummer from Zeus Network, you need to reach out to the White House and do a deal right now, because Donald's desk is crazy. And you know what? What lets me sleep well at night, and I say this to Rob when I see him, y'all voted for it. Y'all voted for it. The reason why I won't subscribe to being frustrated or upset is I know who I voted for. Yeah, I know who you voted for. I know who you voted for. Did you vote? You didn't vote. You're part of the problem.
It was in Illinois. I couldn't. Yeah, it was the whole thing.
Mail-in ballots. Look, listen.
I know. I had to do the signature. My mom didn't want to forge my signature to submit the ballot in Illinois.
That inconvenience that our ancestors died for was worth the fight. Because now, guess what? The Cheeto in charge is going to do everything he told you he was going to do. So on one hand, you can't be mad at him because he's a man of his word. He going to tell you who he is. He going to tell you what he going to do, and he going to do it. Now, some people say, oh, the delivery. Okay, delivery. Oh, well, it's just his personality. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear any reservations. I don't want to hear fear. I don't want to hear that your cousin was snatched from you in the middle of the night the way they did slaves. Because you voted for him. And you know what? I'm not turning into one of those Americans that say, not my problem, because technically a lot of the shit y'all getting ready to deal with is not my problem. But as Americans, and when it comes to humanity, it's all of our problem, because that's what America does. It shares in all of our problems. Well, America got a problem because they're still coming to grips with the fact that in 2024, we've re-elected Donald Trump to be our next president. And he's not letting his grip slip when it comes to his promise of mass deportations. Now, when you think about what happened way back in the day in Germany with the Jews, right? Mm-hmm. Where they used their military to wrangle people up and put them in camps and eventually murder them all. Kind of sounds similar to what's happening or potentially going to happen. I ain't going to say allegedly. Because Donald Trump has promised all of his constituents that he's going to close up all the borders and conduct mass deportations on the first day of his new presidency. This week, he even confirmed that as part of his day one plan, he will declare a national emergency and utilize our military, the United States military, to conduct these mass deportations, something that hasn't happened in history. Take a look. On True Social, somebody said, good news, reports are incoming. Donald Trump administration prepared to declare a national emergency and will use the military assets to reverse the Biden invasion through a mass deportation program. And he said true. When you first heard about this, was this not the craziest thing in the world that the United States would use the military to mass deport people in the country?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely insane. And again, this man has always done what he said he was going to do, whether it was good or bad. So when it was stated and a lot of the Latino population continued to support him, I just, like you said, I was just like, I don't know what to tell you, because you're supporting your own demise.
So now let me just try to break this down. For Marina, your parents are from Croatia. Mm-hmm. They're born and raised, and they're not citizens of the country.
They are citizens.
They are.
I helped them with their, like, who's the president?
Okay, so they became, so is that naturalization?
Yes.
Okay, so they became citizens. Are they citizens or they have green cards?
They're citizens. And that's why my mom gave birth to me here so that I could be a citizen.
Okay, so now under this new administration, are her parents at threat of being sent back to Croatia and her losing her citizenship?
No, I doubt it would affect her. But like, I think they want to roll back DACA. So that would be like children of illegal immigrants who were born in this country, but their parents were illegal. They were given protections under DACA. So they want to roll that back, and all those people could potentially be in danger.
Okay, so for DACA, that's the dreamers, right? Mm-hmm. So for those of you who, as he just said, your parents may have been here unlawfully, and then you were born here, so you were a citizen, they would be gone. Well, under his administration, what he's saying is they could go too. Mm-hmm. Because listen, all of you that are migrants that came here for whatever reason, you were leaving a country that was dangerous, or you wanted a better opportunity, you want to pursue the American dream, and maybe you're going through the process of wanting to pursue residency or pursue your, becoming a citizen, you're in trouble. But before Trump was even officially elected, a Cuban Trump supporter living in Texas named Angel Rodriguez had the reality slap him in the face back in October. Now, his white neighbor and fellow Trumper refused to let their children play together. And of course, why wouldn't you get mad about it? Well, it's kind of weird when you supported Trump. Listen.
Angel Rodriguez voted for Trump. His kids went to play with the neighbor boys across the street, and they were telling his children to go back to Mexico. This is Angel Rodriguez really upset. But this is a man who did not believe the rhetoric. Somehow he thought he was immune to the bigotry and the hate. Hey, it's unfortunately not illegal to tell somebody to go back somewhere. I would just say go back to hell where you came from.
Y'all voted for him. See, that's one of the issues that won't apply to me because I was born and raised here. Now you can go back down the lineage of my ancestors when they put us on boats and brought us over here for a vacation and told us we was going to work a little bit. Well, that's slavery. But those issues, not ours. But yet I voted to make sure that you don't have to have that experience. Well, that was in October. Now, since Angel's running with that in October, Trump was reelected. Angel has now lost his job. So unsurprisingly, still all for Trump. Now, just like El Salvadoran immigrant Jorge Rivas, who is all for mass deportation, so as long as it doesn't affect family-oriented and law-abiding migrants, like he and his wife. Don't believe it? Listen to George.
If they let in hundreds or thousands of people who already have criminal records, if deporting them creates a mass deportation, I'm all for it.
But what if rounded up in all of that are people who work on a farm, they're doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do? Does that worry you?
That wouldn't be fair. Of course, they need to make sure that they don't throw away, they don't kick out, they don't deport people that are family oriented.
Jorge, it's going to apply to you too. That's what these laws do, right? In Stockton, where I ran for city council and won, my hometown where I live, the county proposed something called Measure R. Measure R says that if you are on county benefits and you test positive for drugs, they may revoke your benefits. So think about that, right? And I had to get on a call with them. And I said, so if my mother, who was on drugs, on heroin, who had me living in a motel with her because we got evicted, we're on public benefits, she tests positive, we now lose those benefits. So then what happens to her and me? I had to humanize it to make it real. Like you, Jorge, or George, I don't know if it's Jorge or George or whatever, spelled the same way. Well, that's why you have to be involved with laws and understanding the stuff that you're voting for and the people that are going to make those laws. Because this is what happens. Does it make sense that somebody says, well, I like what he's doing, but if he does that, that's not fair. Well, that's what he said he was going to do. Does it make sense?
No. I feel like it's very black and white and there's no gray. Everyone's like, oh, but just not the kids or not this, but I feel like it's going to be everybody. But now I'm thinking when I was born, my dad was not a citizen. So does that mean I'm going to go? I don't know.
It depends on how much Trump wants
If
y'all
y'all
out
don't
here.
see me.
Well, Trump's new border czar and former ICE director Tom Homan disagrees with Jorge. This is what he said.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together. I hear a lot of people say, the talk of a mass deportation is racist, it's threatening to the immigrant community. It's not threatening to the immigrant community. It should be threatening to the illegal immigrant community. But on the heels of historic illegal immigration crisis, that has to be done.
What would the largest deportation in American history look like to you?
Well, let me tell you what's not going to be first. It's not going to be a mass sweep of neighborhoods. It's not going to be building concentration camps. I've read it all. It's ridiculous.
But if mass deportation is not going to be, as you said, massive sweeps and concentration camps,
There'll be concentrated,
what is it?
There'll be targeted arrests. We'll know who we're going to arrest, where we're most likely to find them based on numerous investigative processes.
Well, not to mention there's police immunity, which the president said he wants to give to all police, which means that when they do these arrests, something goes wrong, it's the price of doing business. Again, people aren't paying attention. I'm not going to start screaming and yelling about it because I'm not going to let them disturb my peace. I'll keep using my platform to highlight conversations, to tell my friends how I'm voting, how they should vote. But again, at the end of the day, you all get to make the decision. So at least for 2 years until there are elections in the Senate or in the House, we're going to continue to go through what potentially may be the most aggressive change in our government that we've ever seen, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Look, they continue to say in our face what they're going to do, and it's interesting because I'll go through like the comments for if a post goes up on Hollywood Unlocked, and it's so hard to watch people try to explain around the truth that is coming out of these people's mouths. So if you want to do a mass deportation of millions of people in a year, they're going to have to like go into neighborhoods. They're going to have to go into businesses. There's just no way to do it. And especially if you're saying we're going to use the military to do it, like what other way do you do you possibly go about that process?
Yeah. And not to mention all the other cabinet changes. We didn't even break all that down today, but you should go Google and do research or go on Hollywood Unlocked and look at all the cabinet changes. Matt Gaetz, who was literally just about to resign, or he just resigned from Congress because he was getting ready to get a report released where he had sex, well, I'll say allegedly for the show,
Allegedly.
but had sex with a 17-year-old in front of her friend. And was they had found that in an investigation. He's now going to be over
Attorney General.
The Attorney General, who's going to be the most powerful person in law in our country. Vince McMahon from WWE, his wife is now going to be over the Department of Education, which he's saying he's going to get rid of. Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz, who we have to blame Oprah for creating because she actually created him, and Dr. Phil, who also went after Kamala. Dr. Oz is going to be over something in the medical. What is he going to be doing?
Is it CMS? And
no, HHS is going to be Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, and then Dr. Oz is over.
Oh, he's going to oversee Medicare and Medicaid.
Medicaid. Yeah.
So all y'all seniors are out of here. You're out, potentially. Not going to lose no sleep. Here's the deal. I don't want to be the American that says it's not my issue, but I keep seeing black people posting this immigrant thing saying, black people, mind your business. No, that is not how the United States should be working. That's not how we should be uniting as a country. If we only vote on our issues, our interests, only, meaning if I voted against anybody who didn't want to give tax breaks, that means every other thing that I believe is important isn't important. So rights for LGBTQ, IA plus and all other people, women's reproductive rights. That if I said like all I care about is making money, which is what I really believe this whole group is about. They just want to make money. Even to the extent that Robert Kennedy Jr., who I enjoyed immensely here on the show, the Jason Lee show, you're gonna go check that interview out. He's now saying that he doesn't believe in vaccines and all the other things that could really change how the federal government supports healthcare on a national level and how he wants to make America healthy again. But then he was pictured on a jet with Elon and the president eating McDonald's. Like, it just doesn't even make sense. At this point, they're laughing in our faces. And I really think that this election and all the cabinet picks is more about retribution for what the country did to him over the last 4 years. Still in the election, that he's just going to come in and disrupt everything as much as he can and leave us here to deal with it for the next 30 years. My reminder to all of you, you voted for it. So I'm going to peacefully move on. Bye. That sounds like our doctor, huh? I'm not going to worry. Well, another person that isn't worried, Mike Tyson, because he has $20 million extra dollars. Did you guys watch the fight?
No.
Sadly.
You didn't watch it?
No.
Wow, it was the greatest fight of the decade.
Did it buffer for you?
Of course. Netflix, you're also getting sued in a class action because y'all haven't figured out the streaming. But I will say, I really enjoyed watching a boxing match on Netflix because it was produced big. I mean, 70,000 people, lights, glitz, glamour, this, that. They didn't have the performances I would have had for a Netflix special, but they got Beyoncé coming out on Christmas, even though we don't care, because we're just tired. Like, Beyonce needs to take a break. But I am going to watch because it's Beyonce. We love you, but we're tired. But I'm watching. No, I think that Netflix did a great job producing it. They just need to work on this live streaming because it kept buffering over and over. But it wasn't as bad. It wasn't bad enough to the extent that it required a class action lawsuit. That man just want to come up. We should be suing him for raising the rates to $19.99 and then limiting how many people you could share with. Okay. That's the gangsta of it all. Well, anyway, there was a fight that happened this past week. And 58-year-old boxing legend and icon Mike Tyson had the internet buzzing all last week after his fight with 27-year-old Jake Paul. Now, Tyson, who retired from boxing way back in 2005 after a 20-year career, came out of retirement in 2020 for an exhibition match against former four-division world champ Roy Jones Jr. He was also one of the commentators, by the way, of this Netflix special. Well, the result was scored as a controversial split draw at that time, and 4 years later, Tyson came out of retirement again to go up against YouTuber Jake Paul, who began boxing in 2018. Now, I have seen Jake fight in person in Dubai. He fought, I can't remember the boxer's name, but that boxer was fine as hell. Those two were boxing. I mean, he's a showman. You know, his brother Logan is a WWE champion. Who did he fight?
Oh, Tommy Fury.
Okay, so he fought Tommy Fury in Dubai. I saw that fight. It was a really, really good fight. And Tommy Fury ended up beating him in that fight. Well, anyway, at their final face-off before their final fight, things got a little heated as Mike slapped the crap out of Jake. Look.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now, I'm going to play that back because I heard why it happened. I want you to see it. Take a look at Mike Tyson's foot when Jake steps on it. Take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the next day, after slapping him, Tyson continued to go viral after flaunting his booty cheeks. Look.
It's just one. It's just one. Thank you, God. Love you. Love you too. Oh, it's his son.
Now, people were talking about how flaccid they were or this. I am not going to talk about a senior citizen's butt, nor am I going to talk about the butt of a man who can kill all of us at this table in one punch. But the butt cheeks went viral, and as a result, instead of us just saying, "Man, that was wrong," this website, Cam Soda, offered him $250,000 to take his talents from Netflix to their platform, which is a porn company. This is America. This type of behavior would never happen in Dubai or the Middle East, by the way, I would just like to say. Would you watch him on...
No.
You? Would you?
No.
Oh. Well, before his $250,000 adult film offer, Mike also earned a whopping $20 million after stepping into the ring with Jake Paul. Now, let me do the math. He took home 20, Jake took home 40 million himself and was named the winner, but they both won because if you think about it, it was 8 2-minute rounds. So for 16 minutes of dancing around and fake jabbing, Mike Tyson went home with $20 million and an extra 250 racks on the side if he wants to do some little funny stuff. Well, the results were shocking, but let's look at the official and unofficial rules of the match. So here are the fight rules. This is a licensed professional bout sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations. The fight is scheduled for 8 2-minute rounds as opposed to 3-minute rounds, customary for most men's boxing matches. The fighters will not wear headgear and will wear 14-ounce gloves as opposed to the 10-ounce gloves usually worn by boxers who weigh over 135 pounds. And there will be judges scoring the fight ringside who will render a decision if there is no knockout. The rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include, the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. And these include, the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he's paid on a sliding scale per round. If Tyson knocks Jake out on the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money, he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake out. If the fight goes to a split decision, it favors Jake Paul because the judges have to be approved by Jake Paul. The best part about this fight was watching the 2 undercard fights before it. The ladies beat each other down. The Puerto Rican princess, not Jocelyn, the one that was sanctioned to fight, lost and she should have won. She was robbed.
And I did not know she was Jake Paul's fighter.
Robbed. The second, and I think it was the second time that happened to her. And then the fight before that, those 2 guys beat each other so brutally that draw should not have happened. The person who was the non-champ, I think his name was Ramos, he should have won. He was robbed, but either way, it was enjoyable to watch those 2 fights, and then this came. And this was very underwhelming to watch. I tried to get Floyd on the phone because I wanted him to say something shady, but Floyd wouldn't answer. Well, now, according to Joe Rogan, those were the rules that I just read off, and those were real, and the contractual rules for Mike and Jake. Now, in his post-fight interview, Jake Paul had this to say about Mike Tyson.
Round 3, Mike seemed to be running out of gas a little bit. You were working the jab really well. At any point, did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt.
Did you feel Mike's power at all?
No.
He hit you with one, and you gave him the tongue.
I only because the crowd like got turned up, but it didn't actually hurt. But I mean, no one's punches have like really hurt. I got buzzed a little bit against Tommy Fury, but that's about it.
The crowd got a little restless toward the middle of the fights. We started hearing the boo birds.
Well, that was what Jake had to say about Mike, but here's what some celebrities had to say. The game said, I see all these weird celebrities saying Mike looked bad. This was sad and disgusting, etc. Y'all goofy. I saw a 58-year-old legend go 8 rounds with a 27-year-old in front of the world in the sold-out football stadium and walk away with $20 million, his dignity, and yet another achievement he said was only for him. I'm proud of you, champ. Hold on, before you move on. That literally was the only thing we need to read, because that I thought, when I saw that on Hollywood Unlocked, I have to say to the game.
Allegedly.
Well,
Oh, no.
the game, you finally said something worth reposting, okay? That was very thoughtful, and I thought it summed up exactly what I was thinking, because the problem is, yes, it was underwhelming. Yes, it wasn't that entertaining. Yes, we could tell it was fake. And yes, like whatever, but we all tuned in. Netflix got the bag. They got the bag. Everybody won. And to be 58 years old and to still provide for your family, I mean, you have to give it up to him for that. So for that, I like what you said, the game. Okay, next person. KSI said, what a sad watch. Whole thing was sad. Mike Tyson is twice the age of Jake Paul. FFS, whatever that means. What does that mean? We're too old.
FFS.
It was never, ever going to be close. I can't believe that this elderly abuse was even sanctioned. Just disgusting. All right? Magic Johnson, he said, just sad, shaking my head. I cut it off because I couldn't watch anymore. It's sad to see Mike Tyson like this because I went to every Tyson fight. This fight tonight was not great for boxing. Piers Morgan said, prime Mike Tyson would have destroyed Jake Paul in 90 seconds. A 50-year-old Tyson went 8 rounds against a much fitter and very capable boxer half his age. Mock him all you like, but Mike's got the heart of a lion, balls of steel, and will always be an absolute legend. You had to talk about his balls, though. Well, Fat Joe also chimed in, and, you know, Fat Joe, he got a new talk show, so he's talking. This is what he said.
I'm Mike Tyson, right? But he's had a fucked up past. And they stole all his money, guys. They stole all his money. Do we think if he was a billionaire and he had crazy money, he would be fighting somebody at 58? No. I've been hearing all the talk. Everybody saying, yo, the fight, it wasn't Mike. He's 58 years old. 2 years from 60. The moment you have to learn from the Mike Tyson fight is throughout his life, he's had so many people who have had their hand out, that have been in his pocket, pimps, hustlers, you name them. Every time we seen Mike Tyson, he had 20 guys. What do you think they do at the end of the fight? They all need 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. The gem of the night was Iron Mike Tyson finally walked in the ring by himself.
I love that perspective. And I like also the fact that Jake, who can be a lot at sometimes, at some point in a night with him, if you're in a ring, he bowed to Mike Tyson, showing him respect and admiration, which you should do for somebody who is so iconic to the sport of boxing like Mike. Well, either way, nevertheless, Mike Tyson was proud of himself, especially after nearly dying in June. This was a photo of what he had to say post-fight. This is one of those situations when you lost but still won. I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to get in the ring one last time. I almost died in June. I had 8 blood transfusions, lost half of my blood and 25 pounds in the hospital, and had to fight to get healthy to fight, so I won. And to have my children see me stand toe-to-toe and finish 8 rounds with a talented fighter half my age in front of a packed Dallas Cowboys stadium is an experience that no man has the right to ask for. Thank you. Hashtag Paul Tyson. I thought that was classy.
Yeah.
Right. So why do you think so many people had a problem with it? Jealousy, envy?
No, I think turning boxing, which is like a real contact physical sport, into like a WWE match is is like insulting. But at the end of the day, it was good for Mike Tyson. Is what he wanted to do. He's a grown man. He can make that choice. So it was fun and entertaining. So
and I'm happy everybody got bags. But I guess my problem is I wish that Netflix didn't have all those things of like he can't get knocked out, Jake Paul, or else Mike Tyson won't win this much money. I wish they both got a bag and then just fought, because I feel like the outcome would have been real different. And to know that like it's not faked but produced a certain way, I don't like that. And I just wish Mike Tyson would have whooped him, because I don't know anybody that loves Jake Paul.
It'd be like realizing that Jerry Springer wasn't real.
You know.
Well, there was that. Mike, we're gonna give you your flowers. Because I'm 47 and I ain't getting in the ring with Jake Paul. Well, 20 million?
Right.
Maybe. All right. Well, congratulations. Bye. Speaking of congratulations, Meagan Good and Jonathan Majors are engaged.
Yes.
But we already knew that. Right? They came to my party the other day.
I wasn't looking at her ring.
Yeah. How you know she had a ring on?
I don't think she did. That's what I'm saying.
She did. You knew she was engaged.
No, I didn't look at the
ring. You
ring.
didn't?
We didn't know.
Oh, somebody walked up to me in the party and were like, oh, Jonathan and Meagan are engaged. I knew, but I wasn't going to say anything. I was just happy to see them there because, there were rumors swirling that they were separated. Mm-hmm. But we knew that they weren't because we go to dinner with them. We know these people. Well, Meagan Good and Jonathan Majors are officially engaged. And the couple was first romantically linked back in May of 2023. They started dating months after Jonathan was arrested on domestic violence charges, and Meagan stood with him side by side through the fire, through the trial, and even after he was found guilty on one count of misdemeanor third-degree assault and one count of second-degree harassment, she still stood there by him, right by his side. I'm not gonna say like Coretta, because
Can't.
Well, he was, however, acquitted of 2 other more serious counts of assault and aggravated harassment, and then y'all tried to cancel him. And remember, we honored him at the Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards because we wanted to have the conversation about redemption, and he is such a massive talent, an artist to the sport of entertainment and acting. Well, just last week, Meagan Good and Jonathan, they were fighting random breakup rumors, as I said, and 3 days later after that, they were engaged. And the thing about them is that they've had so many people commenting on their relationship because of his public battle with the industry and, reclaiming his throne as one of the best actors. And I will say it again, one of the best actors that we've ever seen. And then she is somebody that's beloved by the culture in our community and beloved by the entertainment world, and somebody who went through a public divorce with Devon Franklin. Them coming together, that was just, it was a cocktail of chaos for the industry media to talk about, but not necessarily for them. We've seen them in private time love on each other, and we know she's the real deal when it comes to him, and he's the real deal when it comes to her. And now they're officially engaged. They hit the carpet at the Ebony Power 100 Gala. Let me show you the video, and I'll talk over it. This is Meagan showing off her ring, looking beautiful as ever. They both dressed very, very well. He gets nervous on carpet, so he wore a suit where you can't see him sweat under his armpits, but he be sweating. But they look really, really good. By the way, Eden from Ebony, hi, the owner. I was supposed to come, I know. I couldn't find a suit, and then my stomach was hurt. But I was supposed to go. It looked like a beautiful event. The Ebony Power 100 dinner party, Power 100 party is always a really nice event to go to. I've been to them before. I presented at one of them, but it looked really good. Everybody from Keith Powers, everybody on the carpet looked really, really good. Wish I could have been there. Sorry, Eden. Well, Jonathan and Meagan were talking with Access Hollywood at the gala, and she says she knew in her spirit the whole time that Jonathan was the one. Listen.
I've been following your career. You look amazing, but you stunned the whole crowd. Girl, put that ring on. Let me see that ring. You stunned. Is there a little news? What you mean? Jocka, see, I need some pointers. How did you do this proposal? Was you old school, like romantic, or did you kind of come out the box? How did you do the proposal, man?
She's coming to you. You gotta be original. Yeah, do it your way. Yeah, do it your way. Yeah.
And then, how'd you know he was the one?
I just knew. It's a crazy thing, but I knew in my spirit. I was like, okay, this the one. So, yeah.
I don't know if you even knew this. When you was posing for pictures, she was staring at you like this. I don't know if you saw it because you was posing for pictures.
You up, honey? Yeah. So anyway.
Are you speechless tonight, Johnny? Is that what is going on?
Man, yeah, I guess a little bashful. Yeah, I'm just so happy, man. You know, everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's crazy.
I want to know what the connection is. You know, what is it? Is it because they're very tight-lipped about their personal relationship? They don't really say what and why and how. And even in that explanation of how the proposal went down, he didn't really share any details. They kind of hee ha 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 you right out of the question. I'd have been like this. What was it? But I'm happy for them. Have you texted him congratulations yet?
I did.
Oh, did you?
I did.
What did he say?
He said he's feeling all of the love and he appreciated it. So yes, I did text.
Well, I haven't yet. I will get around to it. I've been sick. But congratulations to both of you. You all look good together. And I know that sex is just crazy.
Oh my
because
God.
they're both so fit and fly and just the way they're all over each other. Get a room. Well, while Jonathan Majors and Meagan Good announced their engagement, Meagan's waist-deep co-star Tyrese shared his own announcement for his first two baby mamas and ex-wives Norma Gibson and Samantha Lee, whom he's been battling for the last 3 years in family and divorce court with. Brace yourself. Here's Tyrese's PSA to his ex-wife.
Mama number 1 and 2. If you ain't learned already, I ain't giving you shit. Like I fought to earn this life, I'm gonna fight to keep it. Not giving it away to nobody. Ain't nobody gonna take this. I'm gonna shoot, stab, and kill over mine. And I'm gonna protect this bottom line at all cost. I've earned it, and I'm gonna protect it. I'm gonna protect it as hard as I've earned it. That goes for all my homies, anybody in my family, anybody I ever marry again. If you think I'm about to just give it to you after I worked this hard to get it, you definitely got me confused. You definitely got the wrong one.
Not shoot, stab, and kill. I mean, that was a lot. I don't take that as he's gonna shoot you, stab you, kill you, but he is gonna shoot, stab, and kill somebody to keep it. Tyrese, they say third time's a charm, but just maybe it ain't. Just don't do it. But I also understand, like, for me, if I was to marry somebody, when it's over, you ain't finna get half of that. You ain't finna get all that. Like, nah. They want that transformer bag. Are they entitled to it? Have they put in enough work for it? Probably not. Come in. Wait, didn't the Bible say, come as you are? It just don't say leave as you were, right? Mm-hmm. Well, whatever the Bible says, what do you think when you see him? He's clearly in distraught. He's clearly sad. He's clearly just at his wit's end and wants to fight his baby mamas off. Mm-hmm. Should he be giving them more money?
Well, one, you shot everybody up with your nut. So if you have kids out there, and you're going to have to take care of them. And listen, that's what comes with it. And two,
he did what?
He shot. If you out here putting babies in people, if you separate and move on, you're attached at the hip. And you're attached at the wallet too.
But I don't think both had a kid.
Well, and also I don't think you should be saying shot, stabbed, or killed to your baby mamas.
Yeah.
He said he will defend them though.
No, he was saying he would defend his pocket, and he will shoot, stab, or kill someone. So if somebody ends up shot, stabbed, or killed,
Tyrese,
they're gonna play this video.
Wait, hold on. Do your thing, TikTok.
I just feel like Tyrese is always sad when he's talking to the internet, and I just want to see him be happy. He's always crying or mad.
Ty, why are you always sad online? Like, just don't go live. But that's probably therapeutic? Because I went live the other day for the first time. Shout out to Live Bites. Y'all pick up everything. I went live talking about how black CEOs don't work together, this and that. They went and put that online. People are posting. But it's true, though. Okay, back to Meagan and Jonathan. Congratulations. I'm so happy that we're talking about something positive. Mm-hmm. Everything is doom and gloom.
Very much so.
I ain't losing no sleep over the Trump stuff. I'm not. Am I wrong for that?
No, me either.
Because what you gonna do about it?
I go take my magnesium. I go right to sleep. I ain't stressed about it.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Side note, I posted on Facebook because I was into it with somebody in the city. I said, 1, 2, Jason's coming for you. I'm having fun with this. I'm not going to lose me. Well, speaking of losing, Cat Williams is speaking out about Diddy and SNL and all his rivals. Now, at the beginning of the year, Cat Williams sat down with Auntie You Know Who and set the tone.
Oh,
What?
God.
Auntie, you know who.
I said what I said. Well, he told us that it would be the year of reckoning and that lies would be exposed. In that same interview, he dragged several comedians like Steve Harvey, Cedric, even our friend Kevin, Ricky Smiley, Faison Love, Michael Blackson. Our girl Tiffany even got hit with a stray. And Ludacris got it. Well, appearing at Vulture Festival last weekend, Cat Williams admitted that he set out to kill the careers of everybody that he dragged during the sit-down. Look, I set out to kill the careers of the people I was talking about, but it was so vicious that I erased all of the knockout blows and just left them jabs. So that the comic I'm talking about knows, but I know your real story, mother. Let me read that again. Put that back up. Cat said, I set out to kill the careers of the people I was talking about, but it was so vicious that I erased all of the knockout blows and just left the jabs. So that the comic I'm talking about knows, I know your real story, mother. Well, he basically was saying he had a lot of other bigger things to drop and chose not to. But I think at the end of the day, there was so many bombs left on the other show that we're still talking about it today. Cat Williams also talked about his rocky relationship with Saturday Night Live, claiming that they think he's a bitch because they keep using a woman to parody him. Listen.
There has never been a person that has been parodied 9 times on Saturday Night Live and yet never been invited other than me. So I, at this point, take it as a badge of honor that they don't fuck with me.
In general, what do you think of impressions of you? Is there an impression of you that you like?
A lot of times when people are doing an impression of you, they're really showing you how they feel about you. You know what I mean? So for Saturday Night Live to have an impression of me and have a woman do that means they think I'm a bitch. And I understand that that's what they're saying when they do that, you know? So, yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. I understand how the game goes, and I understand that if you love me, I know why you do. And if you don't fuck with me, I understand why. My job is to be worthy.
Cat even talked about Diddy and his parties. Here's what he had to say.
I'm anti-establishment, so I can never be the establishment. You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm at the Diddy party, I'm there to tell. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm there to see who the fuck is in here and what do y'all get from being in here. So nobody likes to have me around. I'm there for bad intentions. This is what the people that love me are gonna love. Like, even in the situations where I'm in those situations, like, for example, this one. Like, this doesn't happen at Diddy's house. This is at somebody else's house, right? So it's like 11 o'clock, noon. This party gonna be at 8, 9 o'clock. You follow what I'm saying? So I'm there throughout the day. I know this is just a regular house. Like, there's nothing special to this house. And then the specialness happens, and I'm there. And I know I gotta leave. But I ain't gotta leave before I see who comes. Because that's my job as a reporter to the people. And I said, coming in, that that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna be an unbiased reporter.
I thank God I was never kept over for the Diddy parties. Because, baby, This is all they talk about. Even online, they be like, Jason Lee was at the Diddy party. I don't know nothing about Diddy After Dark. But, you know, in many ways, Kat, I know you're telling your truth. You're burning down every bridge, but sometimes when a bridge is not a bridge you can cross over, why have it standing anyway? Like, I do love the idea that he has become Jaguar Wright in male form, right? Like, everybody can get it, pow, pow. But you're also a part of that ecosystem of actors and comedians, and like, that's your community. Even if you don't feel welcomed, valued, respected, or acknowledged, that is your community. You know, I don't talk about the people that do what I do, even though some of them have been shady or done dirt, because like, for what? Like, you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. But when people, I guess, haven't had closure or feel bitter, maybe that's what it is, they feel a need to do this. Highly entertaining, and we don't want you to stop. But it's like anybody can get it. What do you think?
I just think he's fighting to create a narrative that I don't even know if it exists. I said it before. I feel like he was attacking people just to attack people who were a little bit more successful currently in their careers, because like for the Saturday Night Live thing, they use a female to impersonate Justin Bieber. He's not the only person who they do that for. I think it's more about his stature and not him as a person. They're not trying to say he's a bitch. And they quite often make fun of people on that show who they don't invite to the show because it's a very liberal show. Like, so it happens all the time. I don't know. I just think he's making more out of something than it is.
I love Kat, and I feel like the internet has not been the same since he sat on that little couch. And yeah, I love him down.
On that other show.
On that other show.
DJ TikTok. All right, well, listen, Kat, keep it coming. Bye. All right, listen, Candace Owens, she's in the news. She has a lot to say, and she's coming straight for Beyonce's neck. Say what you want. Candace Owens is going to keep the internet hot. She's going to keep us working. Well, she got dragged by Tina Knowles this time after alleging that Beyonce got paid $10 million to endorse Kamala Harris. Now, before Candace got into a beef with Miss Tina, she first had Cardi checking her. Candace asked Cardi if she was paid to campaign for Kamala, and she said this: I didn't get paid $1, and that's on my 3. I actually came out of pocket for glam and travel because it's somewhere I wanted to be. Like, please, girl, you know damn well I'll argue you down about politics for free. Well, she said what she said. Days later, Candace Owens took to her self-titled show and said Beyonce allegedly got $10 million to speak for less than 5 minutes at Kamala's Houston rally. Candace said Beyonce allegedly got the $10 million for her pathetic little endorsement, and that Meagan Thee Stallion allegedly got $5 million to twerk for Harris. Well, Mama Knowles caught Candace's comments and dragged her with a screenshot of a false information flag on one of her clips of what she was saying about Beyonce. Take a look. And this is basically her saying that it was flagged for false information. Those of you that don't know, when you are flagged for false information, it lets everybody who comes to your page after that know that you've been flagged for false information. So if somebody goes to follow you, it'll prompt and say, before you follow this page, they've been known to put out false information. Well, Candace did not like that, and she responded to Tina and continued to drag Beyonce on her show. Listen.
That clear, a Kamala campaign staffer leaked to the press with specific amounts that musical celebrities had been paid for their endorsements. Allegedly, they listed Meagan Thee Stallion, they listed Eminem, and they listed Beyonce with specific amounts. So again, let's not forget this. The rumor came from Kamala's campaign, and then it blew up, and it was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. I was actually late to covering it. I was 4 days late to covering the news item on my own show. But I'm just going to refresh your memory that this did not come from Candace Owens, and everyone was reporting this. Here is Fox News, the show outnumbered, a host, 5 or 4 hosts discussing it. Okay, no response from Beyonce's mammy. Then Patrick Bet David, alongside Charlie Kirk and a host of other people, discussed it on the PBD podcast. Chris Cuomo up there as well. Again, no response from Beyonce's mammy. And then the biggest podcaster in the world discussed it on his podcast alongside comedian Jeff Dye. Let's listen to Joe Rogan.
How much did Beyonce get?
She got $10 million.
$10 million?
But hold on. She talked for like 3 minutes. That's good.
What do you mean that's good? I mean, that's enough.
I think the issues that we have, Candace, isn't the fact that you can go and find some facts to support your narrative. We all know that if anybody's paid anything in campaigns, it's going to be public reporting. I know that because I'm the councilman. I think it's just the self-hate that comes through every time you speak. That it's hard for us to look at you with that beautiful brown skin and just see what we see and know that you don't see it. You referred to Tina Knowles, who's like the epitome of Black motherhood, Black excellence, beautiful, and the mother of an icon, a living icon, as a mammy. When we all know that they referred to Black women back in those days, slavery days, as the mammy, the person cleaning up the house for the little white kids. So you did that intentionally. And you lay next to a white man every night, so I'm sure you guys have shared those notes. And then you keep calling the vice president of the United States the most powerful Black woman in the entire world and the second most powerful person in the world by her wrong name. You're like calling her out of her name. Instead of calling her Kamala, you're calling her, what is she calling her?
Kamala.
Kamala. So you're refusing to acknowledge how she's told you. She had her young nieces, who are half your age, probably a third of your age, tell you how to say it properly, but you're intentionally being disrespectful. So sometimes you can put lipstick on a pig. Sit with that for a second. But we're seeing somebody that we want to just shake and say, come on home. Not come on home to Democrat, not just come on home to us. Be a Black Republican, but be a Black Republican with sense. This is nonsensical bullying and targeting of a person for clout and for clicks. This isn't anything more than that, because there's no way that you delivered it that way for the intention to wake up America on the ideal that Beyoncé was paid to endorse Kamala Harris. When you see it, is self-hate, does that jump off the page to you?
Yes, she's pandering to her base, which she knows is a very conservative white base, while she praises her white king and savior, Donald Trump, and she attacks Black women unnecessarily. She just continues to name out Black women: Oprah, Megan Thee Stallion, Beyonce, Tina Knowles. But if you look at the other side, he had a slew of people who no one cared about: Amber Rose, Hulk Hogan, who's a racist, all these Puerto Rican rappers who came out of nowhere to endorse him. But she's not chasing down any of those stories. She's just attacking Black women. He won. Like, get over it. Stop attacking Black women and just move on. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's clear that Beyonce is not going to roll over and lose any sleep. She's probably too drunk off her cognac and somewhere combing her hair with that secret stuff. But here's the deal. Focus on the bills and the brand that pays you. I know you give opinions like I do, and I give opinions. And look, I have been a little extra at times. In fact, we got to send Jennifer Hudson flowers. Remind me about that. But here's the deal. What are you getting from continuing to shit on Black women? Like, what do you get? Kamala's lost. She's moved on. We saw her with her hair up in a ponytail playing with her. She's already moved on. Why are you still living in that? Because you just got to put one more nail in the coffin? Are you waiting to be deemed the Secretary of Policing over Black communities? Well, like, what is it that you're hoping that Daddy Trump call you with? She's coming on the show, right? Well, we'll ask her.
She loves your show.
Listen, without Candace, we wouldn't have content to talk about. So we all need each other. Listen, I'm not a hater. I'm just calling it as I see it. And I want her to come here and explain to me how I may be seeing it incorrectly. Good luck. Bye. Just gone. Gone. Wedding bells are ringing for Jonathan Majors and Meagan Good, and we couldn't be happier. Jonathan got his Coretta. I'm just playing. But at least we've got some good news to look forward to in the next year. Now, Cat Williams prophesied that 2024 would be the year of reckoning, and he told no lie. Cat now says that we're entering the golden age, and I ain't talking about Sophia, Blanche, and the other ones. We're talking about a period where society will experience healing, peace, and prosperity. And boy, are we looking forward to that. In the meantime, Candace Owens continues to come for Beyonce and her mama over Kamala Harris and just won't let up. Girl, the election is over. Let it go. Because we got bigger things to worry about other than how much B may or may not have been paid. Because I know we didn't get what we wanted. Trump has been reelected, and now we got to worry about surviving the next 4 years, or be like me and just go to sleep in peace. Whoever believes gender or race didn't play a role in this year's election, quit fooling yourself, because it did. And whether Trump campaigned better than Kamala or not, he had the complexion for the election. And don't get me started on all you Black and Latino Trumpers. It wasn't even a full day after that man got y'all votes that he went and told the immigrants, hit the road, Jack. Hit the road, Jose. Well, Jorge or George from El Salvador thought family-oriented migrants were safe, but Trump's border czar didn't say that. He said, adios, amigos. He said adios to the whole family. And we can't forget about the Blacks for Trump, but I bet y'all forgot about his plan to give immunity to all the police. These next 4 years will be just like the Tyson versus Paul fight. Rigged and set up for them. Well, not in Stockton. Lord help the rest of you. That's it. This is the Jason Lee Show. No, this is Jason Lee Podcast. I'm confusing my own brand at this point. We're out of here. Bye.
The Jason Lee Podcast.